If the TV commercial comes on and it's a white man and a white woman driving a car, those people who complain about wokeism don't notice it. It is political. They simply don't notice it because that's the temperature that they like it. But if it's two women suggesting a lesbian couple, they all of a sudden say it's a woke commercial. All right, what do we got? 1 in 6 more likely to vote with push from Taylor Swift.
No, they're not.
Well, the thing says they're more likely to vote. They were like, are you more likely to vote if Taylor Swift tells you to? And then the answer was yes, for 1 in 6 of them. I think that's how polls work. You'd say they're not?
Yeah, the answer was yes, but when push comes to shove, the people that will actually take the time to get up out of their house, drive over to the polling station, and actually cast a vote, if Taylor Swift tells them to, is a lot less than 15%. Also, I've read this article when you sent it to me. That 79% that said it doesn't make a difference, that's not true. That 79%, if Taylor Swift was like, during the Super Bowl, she came on and was like, vote for Joe Biden. You know how many people would fucking roll their eyes and then go out and cast a vote against Joe Biden out of spite?
What if she just says
like,
register to vote and chooses not one person?
Thing.
Not the same thing. Well, that's kind of what they're asking here. More
No.
likely to vote if Swift or her boyfriend, Kansas City Chief tight end Travis Kelce, encouraged them to do so. Go get registered to vote. 1 in 6 people said they would.
She is on record as being on the left.
She has endorsed Biden last time, yes, and she may do so again. But if she could possibly do those at 2 separate times. You know what I mean? On the big game tomorrow, she might look at the camera and say, "Go register to vote," and then next week she could say, "I'm voting for Joe Biden, so should you." So it's in the messaging. If she comes out just straight up, "Go register. Here's how you do it. Here's the website." Isn't that a good thing?
Sure. If the messaging is only, "Hi, we have an election coming up. Here's the link to register at your given state," or whatever.
That's an acceptable message.
Absolutely.
Okay, it's not acceptable to choose one or the other.
In that event, I think it's perfectly acceptable, actually.
Okay.
Yeah. And when she does, what I'm saying is that the survey is not accurate.
Because the 79 will vote out of spite?
Did you see? I actually hope that she does endorse a candidate in the Super Bowl.
Oh, so do I.
Yeah. And the reason is because
it'll help that candidate.
It won't.
It will.
I'm telling you, it won't. And the reason is because everybody who watches that, who is an actual fan of the NFL, is going to roll their eyes and vote out of spite against whoever she endorses. Like,
no, she has fans. She is a persuasive person. You're a person who pays attention to politics.
She has fans, and she already influenced her fans last election cycle.
Mm-hmm. And it worked.
But, of course. But she is in non-friendly territory if she does that in an NFL space. Because look at what happened to Colin Kaepernick when he started making himself a political activist.
He got more endorsement deals and made more money.
No,
and
he
became
did not.
more famous. I'd never heard of him until then, boss. Listen, never heard his name before because I don't watch the NFL. But he became more famous. He was
blackballed from the NFL
and made way more money in Nike ads.
No, he
than
did
he
not.
ever had. He did a Nike ad after that paid him probably more than the NFL did.
The Nike ad, I'm pretty sure, came before he was abandoned by the NFL.
Before he was abandoned, sure. But it didn't happen until after he became famous.
And since then, he has tried to get back into the NFL, and nobody will take him.
Okay. And he's a player.
As a player, yes. Okay. He is a player.
Taylor Swift probably isn't an NFL player.
Uh-huh. So do you think that people would be more or less annoyed that a non-NFL player is trying to send a political message
Everything is political.
NFL game?
Literally everything's political.
No, it's not.
Everything. Top to bottom, beginning to end. Everything is political. No. Everywhere. All the things. Everything.
I've told you this before. You're too political.
No, everything is political. I'm just the only one that sees it. The fact that she would tell people to vote just by itself has irritated some people. If she comes out and just says, "Here's how you sign up. You should go vote," that's acceptable to some people. Would even say that that's unacceptable. And
I
would
think
those
it's
people
fine.
be on the left or the
But
right?
here's the more important thing is,
Mm-hmm.
as a fan of the NFL myself,
Mm-hmm.
if it's not about football, fuck off. That's me. Like, I want to watch football. I want to watch dudes fucking slam into each other and run the football and throw this fucking, you know, this ball down the field. And I want to hear people talk about it. I don't want to hear people talk about any fucking other thing while I'm watching my football.
Okay, great. But it's going to be interrupted every 60 seconds for the biggest, most expensive ad buys in the world, selling you beer and chips
I
and
get that.
soda and uh, and anything that Pfizer, whatever's latest from Pfizer, is going to have 100 commercials. Cancer medication that you don't need. Um, cars, trucks. Are those political?
No,
Of
but you
course
know
they
what I
are.
call
Of
those?
course they are.
No, they're not. But you know what I call those?
What? Capitalism?
Bathroom breaks.
Bathroom breaks. Okay, great. Well, can you not just take a bathroom break when she starts to talk?
I certainly can.
Yeah, those corporations are backing a political party. Those corporations have a specific bit of politics
But those
involved.
corporations aren't coming on those advertisements and saying, "Hey, vote for Joe Biden,"
No,
or "Hey, vote for Donald Trump."
they're pushing morality, honestly. Have you seen a Ford commercial lately? You're a man, and a man needs a man's truck. So buy this Ford truck. It has 9,000 pounds horsepowers and built with military grade aluminum.
That
They're pushing a
no, that's not
morality on you.
morality.
Of course it
Uh-uh.
is.
That's not morality. That's playing
It's
on insecurity.
it's identity then. Uh, would you say it's identity politics then?
Maybe.
Okay.
I definitely think that's playing on insecurity. You're a
Okay.
man.
Yeah,
If you're not driving a Ford, you're not a man.
you're not a man. And then I mean the
I mean, come on.
all alcohol commercials play on that same insecurity. Um,
If you want to fuck
it's
bitches and get money, drink Corona.
drink
Yeah,
Corona.
I get
Look
it.
at you. Yeah, and so that's the political bit.
That's
I'm,
not political at
of
all.
course it is. Of course it is. Everything's
No,
political,
that's
including that.
so silly. It's so silly to call that a political argument. I don't know what you're
It's not
doing
a
right now.
political argument. It is political.
Or a political message. No, like
Well, sure it is.
y-
It's identity
there.
politics.
This is.
If you want to be
Are
cool,
you cool?
yeah,
You know, like if you're cool, you drink Bud Light.
right. Look at all these attractive young hot people who are drinking our
Not
products.
political.
Don't you want to be a part of them? That's politics, baby. That is
No,
politics.
it's not political at all. No. How could you be this politics brain? This is ridiculous.
Because that's what it is. It's politics. It is.
No.
And because I can see it from a mile away, I can dissect it and then determine what their message is. I mean, they're sending a message, aren't they?
The message is buy our product. You'll be cool if you do.
Right. And what makes you cool? The fact that you are a young, attractive white person. The fact that you are a man who needs to drive a large truck. The fact that you need to buy our vape juice.
No, man. No.
Yeah.
This is
Everything's political.
Not
Everywhere.
political.
All the things.
no,
All
no,
the
it's
things.
not.
Every commercial. Okay, so follow me here.
Whoa, hold on. These pitches that you're making, like
Mhm.
buy our vape juice or buy our beer. Tell me how that is political. You buy our beer, you drink our beer, you're a cool guy.
By the
How's that
the choices of the people that are in the ad. That's what I'm about to get to. If there is a ad for a let's say like an SUV, right? You watch the ad. There is a white man and a white woman sitting in the front seat. He's driving, she's in the passenger seat. Is that political?
Say it again.
It's just a regular ad. Has some music. Has a guy, a white man and a white woman in the driver's seat and the passenger seat driving the car. Is it political? Of course it is. Now, if there is a white man and a black woman in there, is it political?
No.
Of course it is. If there are two women and it's implied that they're married, is that political?
No.
Of course it is. All of those things are political. By normalizing or suggesting that one is normal and others are deviant, you are doing a political game. A lesbian couple on a TV commercial gets right-wing people angry. They scream about it. They scream about wokeism. Wokeism is everywhere. If the TV commercial comes on and it's a white man and a white woman driving a car, those people who complain about wokeism don't notice it. It is political. They simply don't notice it because that's the temperature that they like it. But if it's two women suggesting a lesbian couple, they all of a sudden say it's a woke commercial. Do they not do idiots online complain about wokeism and woke TV commercials? KPP gets it. Look at him. Lesbian couple goes for a road trip in a Ford pickup. It's political.
I'm not sure there's been a complaint about that, actually.
Well, you don't hang out in the terrible parts of the internet the way I do, then. Every time, this is why I make that stupid joke about there being two genders, male and political. There's two types of marriage, straight and political. There are two races, white and political. There are two religions, Christian and political. And that's the joke that I make, because when the people who really hate wokeism see a straight white couple, they don't see politics. When they see a gay couple, all of a sudden, politics, there it is, there's the politics. But they don't know that the straight white couple is also political.
I have to disagree with you.
Okay.
So I've been playing this game a lot lately. It's called Baldur's Gate.
Heard of it, yes. Very exciting.
The fact that there is a black person in my party does not feel political to me. That's just that's just a fact.
Okay, great. Then black people showing up in media shouldn't be setting off alarm bells, and we shouldn't have entire YouTube channels based on finding the woke, right? We do have that, don't we? We do have that, don't we? Black Little Mermaid was just people screaming from the rooftops about how woke it is. Did you see the transgender guy that screamed about Starfield? Wokeism, transgender, current fucking day. Maybe I'll put some clips in there.
Turn the friggin' frogs gay.
Thanks for turning a frog gay. Your mom's wet hole. Very nice name too. I appreciate you becoming a follower. You turned a frog gay. Hope you're happy. Anyway, we're talking about wokeism now. I hope I get eaten by a tiger. Thank you. That's nice. I don't even see any tigers around here. That seems unlikely.
I am. In terms of KPP's question, I'm just trying to decipher what it is exactly that Waldo is accusing the right of.
All politics is feelings, and all politics, everything is political, and all politics are based on feelings. That's what I'm getting towards. And the more I pay attention to the people, and the more I look at it, the more it becomes obvious.
Okay. I like to separate things from politics because that's way better that way. I don't like when I'm trying to watch a sport, people from that sport coming up and being like, hey, by the way, here's my politics. Like, no, dude, fuck off. Go to the football.
I agree. It could get in the way. I agree it can get in the way.
I don't think that everything is political or should be political. I think that's fucking annoying. And I will tell you that the way this started was the whole Taylor Swift thing. I will tell you that if Taylor Swift decides to make a political statement of some kind during the Super Bowl, I personally will find that fucking annoying.
Okay.
And I am more likely to vote against Taylor Swift's interests as a result. But you already know how I'm going to vote. I'm voting straight red.
I know. Is there any statement she could make that isn't political? Join the army. What if she said that? Is that not a political stance? She comes out and says, join the Navy. Of course that's political.
I actually would disagree with her on those statements.
Okay, great. Are they political statements?
No.
No. Join the army. Join the Navy. Support the country is not a political statement, according to you. Well, I think it definitely is. I don't think so. I think everything's political, but
no, that's totally silly. How is that a political statement?
Because you're suggesting that is a virtue. Joining the army is a virtue. This is a good thing that ought to be done, and that army supports a country. That country being America, I can agree with the statement. Hell, even statements that I agree with can be political.
That's a lot of statements.
Even statements I agree with. Even
That's a lot of steps to get to the point where that's a political statement.
well, no, it's not. Join the army. That's a political statement. Support our troops. Political statement. Sign up to vote. Not exactly, but slightly. Just 1%, because democracy is a fucking political system, right? So you're supporting the idea of democracy. Even things that I agree with are political, right? If she came out there and said vote Bernie, I'd be like, yeah, good job, high five. That's a political stance, and I can agree with it.
That
I
would
think.
be a political statement if she came out and said vote Bernie.
Okay, what if
I
she
don't
said?
think it's a political statement for her to say join the army. No.
I don't think you know what the word political means. I think that
I
the
think that
word
you're too
political has been poisoned. I think the word political has been so thoroughly poisoned by, again, the framing of the right-wing media
I
to
think
mean
she
anything they don't
meant-
like. Anything
No.
they don't like. They don't like
You-
lesbians, so they don't like, so it's political when you see two of them in a Ford ad. They do, in fact, like straight white couples, so when they see the straight white couple in the Ford ad, it's not political.
It may have been over a year ago now, but do you recall, and I forget what we were talking about actually, but you said I actually might be too political.
Well, I said I might be too political? I mean,
Yeah.
In the way that I was describing that was because I pay too much attention to it, and
I think it was about
eats up a
education.
lot of my time. It eats up a lot of my time, and I spend so much time worrying about it and thinking
Not
about
everything is politics, dude.
it. Okay,
Sometimes
I think everything
we
is.
just want to be entertained.
Sometimes a cigar is just a cigar. Okay.
And when we just want to be entertained, when people bring politics into it, it's fucking annoying.
Yes. I'm not saying it's not. She could go out there and say things that I agree with. It would still be annoying. I agree. She could interrupt the game to push a solid leftist message, and it would be annoying to me. I can agree with that. Is capitalism a political view? Asked KBP. I think so, yes.
It can be,
Okay.
but not always.
Okay. You and I disagree there. That's okay. We have talked about wokeism for quite a little while, and this wonderful thing is advertising for a capitalist system of political situation. I think so, KVP, but of course,
No.
I think everything is political. So, and that's where
Is
we keep
advertising
bumping
for a
into.
capitalist system a well, so are you saying a capitalist system? Are you advertising and saying, hey, we should run this system in our government? Or when you say advertising for a capitalist system, are you saying
A Coca-Cola commercial.
buy Coca-Cola? Exactly.
Advertisements in a capitalist system. Correction. Okay, yeah, that's what
No,
KVP
they're
was
not
looking for.
political at all.
Okay. I disagree completely. The Coca-Cola makes a commercial, right? They're going to have people in it. Those people are going to look a certain way. Those people are going to have to speak in certain. They're going to have dialogue. That dialogue is run by a committee of people who want to hit the most customers as possible. And in
Economic
doing so,
systems and political systems are two separate things, in my opinion.
they're two sides of the same coin. They're the same thing.
Not really.
They're not two separate systems. They
are, though.
They can't be, because you need money to pay the people working in the government. They are part of an economic system. The policies they can put in place could affect that economic system, obviously. So I think, yeah, that they are maybe even two sides of the same coin might still be a bad explanation. They're the caduceus. They're the two snakes. They're the two snakes on that stupid staff rod. You know, the caduceus with the two snakes. That's politics and capitalism. That's politics and economy. I take it back. You don't have to be a capitalist. You could just be an economy. So the two snakes on the caduceus are politics and economy. They touch each other. They spin around each other. Yeah.
How about one can affect the other?
Because they're so close together. Because they're intertwined. They're touching all over the place. They're rubbing all up on each other. So yes, they can affect each other. I agree. And it's because they rub all up on each other.
Yeah, one can affect the other, but they're not the same thing.
They're not the same thing. I agree. They are two different things that are twisted around each other.
We're in agreement that advertising or advertisements in a capitalist system are not political.
Oh, of course they are, because they touch it. So, of course they are. They
They
are.
touch closely.
They
They're not the same
have
thing.
political.
Not the
The
same thing.
reason you're doing it is to make money, but the choice of who you put in that in front of that camera
Okay.
is a political
So-
choice.
So that caduceus that you just described,
Mhm.
you described two snakes.
Mhm.
They touch each other in a lot of areas.
Mhm.
Are those two snakes the same snake?
From a certain vantage point, kind of. If one
Oh,
moves left,
come on!
and
Don't
if one
fucking
moves
bullshit me.
left and the other moves
answer
left,
is no. The
Mm,
two snakes are not the same snake.
no, they're two separate things that are so tightly
They are two
entwined
separate
that
things.
you can't separate them. Okay, you can't separate them. They're two separate snakes that have been tied so closely together they
That's
cannot be
fine.
pulled apart.
Yes,
If
one
one
of them
moves left,
moves
the
in a
other
way.
moves.
the other one moves in a similar way, but not always. They are still two separate entities, and that
Okay.
is So the economic system and the political system are separate things that, yes, are influenced by one another, but it's not political to make a capitalist decision.
I agree that you can make capitalist decisions that are not political.
Because
Barely.
a capitalist decision might influence something politically,
hmm
doesn't make that capitalist decision political.
I think that's a very small amount of the time. I think most of the time, those capitalist decisions, if you're choosing who to put in front of a camera, that's a political decision. Do you put a white person there? Do you do a black person there? Do you put a straight couple? Do you put a gay couple?
No, those
are
are
political
entirely
decisions.
capitalist. And no, I disagree entirely. Actually, those are entirely capitalist positions.
Capitalist
Because
decisions.
the thought process is, if I put a black person on the camera, actually, let me go back a second.
Maybe a trans person could try and sell some beer.
If the thought is, hello, we already have a huge portion of white people who purchase our product.
Mhm.
And we want black people to purchase our product.
You're selling mayonnaise. Okay, great. You're Hellman's. You're selling mayonnaise, and you
Sure,
want.
we're Hellman's, we're selling mayonnaise.
Great.
White people already buy our product.
Lots
we want
of them.
Black people, we have, in the way that we feel, we've maximized our white demographic in terms of who is buying our product.
They
want
got
black
it.
people to buy our
They
product.
understand it. Got it. We would
Well-
like to branch out.
We want more people to buy our product. This is capitalism.
Mm-hmm.
We want more people buying our shit.
Mm-hmm.
So, how are we going to advertise this? We're not going to advertise this with a white person buying our product. They already buy our product. That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
We can abandon that for a second and have a black person buying our product.
Mm-hmm.
And that way, maybe we capture some more of the black demographic.
And then maybe you change
That's
up the language.
not political.
That's 100% political, boss. 100%.
No.
Then you change up the
That's-
language even,
that's
and put some cool words in there, and then you put it up on a channel that you don't put it on a Lifetime channel. You know, you choose the market, you choose the language, you choose the person in the commercial, and then that's identity politics. Is what you're describing.
People having identity does not imply identity politics.
Identity is a political discussion.
No.
Your identity
No.
is a political discussion. What you are and what you are not. What is identity, if not who you are and who you aren't?
So silly.
That's
No.
political. That's politics.
It's not.
Being any part of your entire
all
identity
politicized. No.
is political. Yes.
No. So, why is it that men
Mhm.
appreciate the character of Sarah Connor in Terminator 1 or Ridley in Aliens?
Why would they appreciate her? They have feelings towards her. Feelings, either of attraction or revulsion at how tough they are. You can have many different feelings about these things. Feelings.
No, how about she's just a good character?
You feel that way. Great. I feel like she's a because they're both crazy. I feel like they're very cool people. I feel like they're good characters. Great feelings. And if you extrapolate those feelings towards a identification about yourself, I love Ridley and Sarah Connor, and you know who else is cool? All these badass ladies. I watched a movie and she was a total badass. I love it. Makes me feel good. It's part of my identity.
I am baffled right now.
I know, because we're getting down deep. Down deep. We're getting all up in there.
Well, maybe, but the idea that, first of all, I like Sarah Connor as a character,
Mhm.
but never in my life have I been attracted to Sarah Connor.
Okay. So you
Why
have...
do I like Sarah Connor as a character?
Why do you... I mean, because you have feelings. You are a meat sack that is just filled with
Because
chemicals
she's a good
and
character.
feelings. You
Is
feel like
the
that way.
answer.
Okay, great. I agree. And if you extrapolate those feelings to an identity, you have entered the realm of politics. It's not directly voting for one
no.
side or the other, but you are entering that realm. You are beginning your political journey.
See, this is where we disagree, is that I don't think that extrapolation...
We're still 7 or 8 steps away from voting for Joe Biden, but yes, you've entered the realm of politics. Once you become the identity, you can have feelings without politics. I agree. You can have feelings. Hey, I like this. Hey, I don't like this. I have this is funny. This made me laugh. But even then, why did it make you laugh? But liking things and not liking things, that is just feelings. Those feelings, once you identify them, comprehend what they are, and start attaching them to identities or other types of media. If you said, "Hey, I really like this Sarah Connor chick," and then I said to you, "Hey, you know who you know what you ought to do? You ought to watch Alien. That's got this super cool broad who does a lot of the same things." Now, why would I suggest that to you? Because it is similar. It is an analog. It is a very similar thing, and I recognize that it's a similar thing because I recognize the identities, because I recognize the very basics of politics. I recognize
disagree.
identity.
And the point is, I don't think that everything is political.
Okay.
Like, you even just said, it's like 8 steps from I should vote for Joe Biden.
Yes, it is. It is. Several steps away.
What I'm getting at is everything is not political. And you're saying everything is.
Mm-hmm.
I completely disagree. We can have advertisements that have all variety of people and couples and whatnot, that they don't have to be political. The
I think it's impossible to avoid.
Well, maybe sometimes.
You can minimize it. I agree. You could minimize it and get it down to like 1% political, but it's never zero. The only thing that I can think of, and I have thought about this, that isn't specifically political, is like hard math. But even then, are we on a 10-base system or a 16-base system? Do we use Roman numerals? Rome was kind of a country. Or do we use the Japanese numbers? You know, they got funky little slashes and dots and shit like that. If I chose to have all my math done in Japanese numerals rather than Roman, is that not a political decision?
It depends on the platform from which you're doing that.
Okay.
If you're doing that as someone who is in Congress or the President of the United States, then of course that would be a political decision. If you chose to do it from our stream right here, where you just started using Japanese numerical systems, no, I wouldn't call that political.
But what if I just wanted more Japanese people to watch? Is that not political? What if I put an ad?
Capitalist.
What if I put an ad on the side of a bus, but I put it in Chinese? I mean, I've seen ads. I'm a big city boy. I see ads in Chinese.
Did you do that because you thought that more Chinese people would see it, and because they would see it, they'd appreciate the fact that it was in Chinese?
Yes.
And it's a capitalist decision.
But not a political one?
No.
Okay. I disagree with you. I think it is a little bit political. Just a little. Just a little. It's not 100%. It's not making an entire YouTube stream and naming it after yourself and putting the word politics in there. But it is just a little political.
No, it's recognizing your audience and playing to that audience. If you think that Chinese people will buy your product more as a result of making your ad, or as a result of your ads being written in Chinese, guess what? If that's the case, you'd probably do it.
Okay, I agree. You would probably do it, but I'm suggesting that's a political move.
I don't think so at all.
Okay.
No,
And that's the end of the argument. That's
well,
where
no,
we get
look,
to. I
these
mean,
corporations, they don't actually care, do
I
they?
know they don't. No, they don't.
Okay, so their move is capitalist in nature, not political.
Their aim is to make money, and by comprehending the identity,
Okay, so when
comprehending
Bud
the
Light had,
politics,
I forget their name,
Dylan Mulvaney.
Dylan Mulvaney
Mhm.
as their spokesperson,
Mhm.
they thought they had a captive audience,
Mhm.
and they were going to spread their influence, right?
Yes, they did that thing we were talking about with the Hellman's mayonnaise earlier. Yes, they did that.
And it didn't work.
Well, there were a lot of people that were upset about it, right? And why were those people
So
upset?
they
Why
failed
were
to
those people upset?
recognize their audience.
No, why was their audience upset?
But the move they
Politics,
made,
baby.
hold on,
Politics.
the move they made was capitalist in nature.
Okay.
They thought they had a captive audience. They could pick up more audience, right? Or more purchasers of Bud Light by having this spokesperson do this thing.
Because they looked at the identities, they looked at the politics. That was a political move by Bud Light.
No, it was not. That was a capitalist move, and it was a misstep because the politics didn't align.
They made a capitalist move by
Yes.
identifying a
demographic
minority
did not drink their beer. The politics did not match up because the people their current audience didn't appreciate what they were doing.
The politics of that. They called it a political move. They said it was wokeism. They said this is our beer gone woke, making political choices. Are they wrong in doing so? So Kid Rock shoots up a bunch of a few cases of Bud Light because he's politically upset, but he shouldn't be because it was a capitalist move. Is that what you're suggesting?
I'm saying that politics and capitalism are separate from one another, or actually, politics and economic theory are separate from one another. I have agreed with you that politics and economic theory are intertwined while being separate.
Okay.
So, Bud Light fucked up because their audience was good old boys who don't like the whole transgender thing.
Politics.
Right.
Good old boys is an identity, and they don't like the transgender thing. Politics. They have political views, and not even and just seeing someone on an ad that disagrees with their political views caused them to have a backlash towards this company. It's all politics. Everything is politics, man. You're only making me more convinced. You're only convincing me that everything is political.
No, it's not. The politics is separate from the capitalism. The capitalism said, hey, we have all of this demographic. The politics said, hey, the capitalism said, hey, we have all this demographic, we want this demographic. How can we do that? Well, we can make a decision. We can appeal to this demographic.
To their identities.
And
are they not appealing to the identity?
That's when
it became political?
It became political.
Okay, great. So it was a political ad.
They did this, and then people said, hey,
our politics don't align.
We're
upset.
That.
And that we don't like that. Yes. Everything is political. That's what you're telling me. You're telling me that everything is political. Even basic ads.
I'm not. Because, no. Those ads were fuck you. Were a capitalist decision to try to capture more market.
Yes.
But the politics of it in the first place are separate. It was, hey, these people are not buying Bud Light. I want them to buy Bud Light. I want to expand our demographic. Let's create an ad for that. People said, that doesn't align with my political view, and I no longer want to buy Bud Light. The decision itself was capitalist in nature, not political.
That one small decision, I would still say that's it was capitalist in nature, yes. But how did they accomplish their capitalistic goal? By identifying an identity and then finding a spokesperson for that identity. That is so step one, all right, I'll give you that. Step one was capitalist. Step 2 through step 17 were all political. that had some version of political
no.
and increased more and
Step
more and
one
more
was
and more.
capitalist, and from that point, everything was capitalist still.
No,
Because
find someone of the identity.
I want to
Find
bring
an
this
identity.
demographic in to buying Bud Light.
Find their identity. Find one.
Therefore, how can I appeal to these people who are
Identify.
not buying Bud Light and making them buy Bud Light?
Identify with them. How do you
That's still
identify
a
with them?
capitalist decision.
That's politics,
How do
baby.
I
Identifying
identify
with
with
people
them?
is
You take it-
literally politics.
All right,
Boss,
excuse me one
that's,
second. I have to use the bathroom. Really
that's
bad.
literally politics. Identifying with your constituency is what you're describing. Anyway, we're going to call it off right there. My name is Waldo. I love arguing the politics. If you're watching, if you're paying attention, press the subscribe button, press the thumbs up. I've been off for about a week, so what I'll do is I'll chop this up into little YouTube videos and then put it onto the YouTube right here. There's the YouTube link. If you have story ideas or things that you would like to discuss, you can go here to the Discord. Tell us what you're thinking. Tell us what you're feeling. Tell us how it goes. Tell us what you like. Tell us what you don't like. Tell us what to talk about and things like that. If you're a cool guy, you can hop into the Kick Chat and play slots, or every time you chat in the Kick Chat, you get 5 points, and then you can use the 5 points to play the slot machine. Very fun, very exciting. So my name is Waldo. I am generally a left-leaning person. Thomas is on the right and more of a conservative type person. That's why we like to talk to him. That's why we are the better debate bros. And if you don't agree, we'll debate you about it. So that is the entire idea for the stream. We just talk about the stuff, we argue, we look at the news and the politics, and then tell you what we're feeling. And that has been my ethos, maybe, is that everything is political and politics are all based on feelings. That has been my conclusion that I've come to. Not conclusion, but almost like a what would you call that? Like a founding principle that I've been at for a little while now. So I'm going to get us ready for the next super cool story. It is very silly, and I want you to watch it because it is very silly. So that's it. That's the stream. That's the idea. I stream on Saturdays at 10 a.m. Then Monday and Wednesday nights, usually at about 7 o'clock. Unless I'm a little bit late on Monday and Wednesday nights. Pacific time. West Coast is the best coast. So you should also definitely be on there. Let's see. Do I have any notes? Did I write anything down? Yeah, I covered all the important things. So we're going to talk about the Hunter. No, sorry, not Hunter. Tucker. Same word almost. Tucker interview with Putin here in just a minute.
Okay, I'm back.
It's not something that we
Sorry.
can watch live, but we can look at some of the highlights. Are you interested?
Hold on.
Okay, yeah. You want to cap this off?
One thing
Sure.
is the two of us
Mhm.
are looking at a caduceus.
Mhm.
I'll take that analogy. Fine.
Okay.
You are looking at the caduceus with two snakes intertwined on it
Mhm.
and saying there's one snake. And I am looking at the caduceus and looking at it and saying there are two.
That's fine if they're functionally inseparable and move together all the time. Might as well be one snake. They eat together, they sleep together. If one moves left, the other moves left. You cannot separate them.
But there are two there.
There are two that are functionally one. They are so enjoined and so tightly woven that they cannot be removed. And even doing so would ruin and reshape the entire planet.
Well, certainly
Might as well
would.
be one snake. Who cares?
That's exactly what I was saying.
I know.
I think that while the two are intertwined, decisions can be made by one snake that, yes, impact the other, which are not the result of the other snake's decision.
And I think you're getting to that point because you like one snake and not the other. You like the economic snake and you hate the political snake. When I think that that's basically the same thing. Possibly because you're a capitalist who uses the stock market.
Yes, essentially, I view them as two different snakes, and yes, I do favor the economic snake.
Okay. I don't trust the economic snake. I think it's a bad idea. And we can go, we talk about that every week. Let's swap subjects slightly now. To, let's see, what was the next story on the list? Because we've been on this one for a little bit. This is very silly, but I like it. I think it's funny. GOP Secretary of State candidate literally burns books in Twitter post. I don't suggest that you are a fan of this person. I'm not suggesting that you are, or would be. But she is silly, and this is the point I was trying to make earlier, that Trumpism is the future of the Republican Party. And she is doing what she's doing, not because it's good policy, but because it's a good show. Valentina Gomez, who said she believes books with LGBTQ plus themes are grooming kids, would oversee Missouri's public library system if she wins. She is running for Missouri Secretary of State. I know it's a small state thing. She's not a huge, giant national figure yet, but she would like to be. She blowtorched the books, falsely claimed the books with LGBTQ plus themes are indoctrinating and sexualizing children, and promised to preside over widespread efforts to remove books from public libraries if she wins a race. Her quote is, "This is what we can just watch it. How about we just watch it?" Here, come on, internet, you can do it. There you go. Let load. Come on, load. Come on. Come on. Come in.
This is what I will do to the grooming books when I become Secretary of State. Let's go.
She got her little flamethrower, and she's burning the books.
Man.
These books come from Missouri Public Library.
I'm muting it so I don't get copyright struck for the fucking music. And then she puts a... okay, boss, listen. How do you pause this horse shit? Pause when I fucking tell you to pause.
It's on the bottom left.
No, when it's paused, it starts itself up when I click on the thing, and then is this a political photo?
Yes.
Okay, I agree. Thank you.
She is running for office. Of course,
she's running for office, and the choices that she made on what to wear and what to hold are political choices. Yes. Okay. Great. So,
I'm gonna put a link in. God, we're still discussing what is not political. I want you to pull the image that I link here in a second.
Okay.
Up on stream and tell me if it's political or not.
Okay. I'd probably just say yes. So if you're a fan of Valentina Gomez, you're one of these people. I'd love to show you a little clip from Family Guy. It's a 35-second clip. Here we go. I'm not sure if you can hear it, but I'll turn the CC on. There we go.
I'll turn your stream on and I'll meet you.
Well, yeah, I mean, you've probably seen it. It's Family Guy, you know.
Try giving short, simple answers.
Mrs. Griffin, what do you plan to do about crime in our city?
A lot. Because that's what Jesus wants. 9/11 was bad.
I agree with that. What are your plans for cleaning up our environment?
9/11.
If there's anybody who is a Valentina Gomez fan right now, you're one of these people in the crowd. You are. Lois Griffin says 9/11. 9/11. Lois Griffin says 9/11, and the crowd cheers. If you're a Valentina Gomez fan, you're just one of these people. You're just one of these people.
Okay. No, see, I muted you in Discord so I could watch the clip you were playing, and then I unmuted you in Discord, and you were going, "You're one of these people."
Not you.
I was like, whoa.
No, not Thomas. If you are a Valentina Gomez fan, if you watched her burn those books, you are one of the people in this crowd. You just are. She says 9/11, and then you clap. And that's the problem. The burn the LGBTQ crowd goes wild. Yeah, they just want the short, simple answers that don't mean anything. That she doesn't have a platform. She doesn't have a coherent ideology. She hasn't got a plan for how to make their lives better. All she has is a stunt. Burn the queer books. That's it. That's all she's got. She doesn't know how to write policy. She doesn't know how to draft laws. She has only stunts. And this is the future that the entire Republican Party will be a part of. I mean, I've suggested that Ron DeSantis did the same thing with the shipping the immigrants around. That's not a policy. It's not a plan to make the world better. It's not a thing that he would suggest we do to make immigration better. It's a stunt to make Twitter headlines. And I think
Okay.
that this is the direction that the entire Republican Party will be going. All of them, forever. Well, not forever, but for the foreseeable future. They will have no plans. They will have no principles. They will have no ideas to make the world better. They will have no laws to draft. They won't have any written platforms. They'll just have Twitter stunts. Burn the books, ship the immigrants, put up a fence. That's all there is. And so earlier when I was discussing Donald Trump is the future of the Republican Party, that's the point I was trying to get to. What do you think?
What I think is,
Please.
I think that what people on the right want is a return of standards. Can we have standards for people's behavior? And what are the consequences for violating those standards?
Well, they want to choose those standards. No more gay people, no more trans people, no intersex people, no NBs.
How about just don't loot our grocery stores?
We already have laws against that.
In red states we do. And then I mean, in California, if you walk into a store and you just walk out with whatever you want, nobody ever actually comes after you.
You're right. Oh man, the whole place is just a nightmarish hellscape. You're fear mongering right now. That is pretty typical Republican talking point.
No,
Fear-mongering.
actually, it's just true.
It's
In
fear
fact,
mongering.
In fact,
Be
I own
afraid.
a car. I won't leave it in San Francisco unattended because it might be broken into.
Yes, you're afraid that it will be broken into. The fears are acceptable. It's acceptable to have fear. If you park your car in a dangerous place, you should be afraid that it will be have its thing broken and your stereo stolen. That makes sense.
Should
But if you
all
build
cities be dangerous places?
an entire political system and tell people that this is the fear and that this is what they need to be worried about, you're fear mongering at that point. If you build an entire media apparatus to point out exactly the things that go wrong, you cross the line. You're being very fear mongering about it. I don't dispute the fact that those things happen. I'm suggesting that building an entire political movement against it is worrisome.
How is that worrisome?
Building
How
an entire
is having
movement.
standards worrisome?
Standards are fine.
And consequences for those standards.
Standards are the opposite of freedom. Standards set by people who say, here's where the standards are and here's what you will do, is not very freedom oriented, is it? The people who want those standards would tell people what they can and can't wear. They would tell people who they can and can't marry, what religion is acceptable, and where it's acceptable. Standards are the opposite of freedom. I recognize that we need some standards. I'm okay with having laws. I'm okay with having consequences for breaking those laws, but make sure that the point of them is to prevent people losing their freedom.
Okay. Here I am coming out in favor of standards.
Mm-hmm.
There are standards. You don't fucking violate people's cars by
Great.
breaking their windows. and
That's a
taking
law.
things from them.
I'm on board.
Except that we have not enforced that law.
They do
in
enforce
many
that law.
states,
You're
no, they
being
don't.
facetious. You're being over-exaggerative. You're over-exaggerating the lawlessness of California for a political effect.
What? No,
You're-
California is literally has like the highest number of car break-ins and porch piracy in the entire country.
Yes, it does. It also has the most people and the most stuff and the most money. I'm not saying that those aren't wrong. Do you have a plan to make those better? And if it's elect a Republican, they don't have a plan. They have only stunts. Do you have a
Here's the
plan
plan.
to make those things
Plan
better?
is-
I'm on board with it listening to plans.
See,
Republicans don't have any.
The problem is there are no consequences for committing these crimes right now, and the plan that I have is have consequences and enforce them.
We do that.
No,
If you're suggesting that,
we don't.
does California not have millions of people in jail? I think they do. I think they have a gigantic prison population. If you're suggesting that California is the land of the lawless and you can just break all the laws you want, you're fear-mongering.
I'm not. I live in California.
Great.
And I know for a fact that if I had an older car and someone stole my catalytic converter, there would be no prosecution for it, even if I figured out who it was.
You've found out, you know who it was, you have solid evidence, you filed a police report, and they would just tell you to fuck off? That sounds unlikely.
Pretty much.
I don't believe you. I literally don't. I think that
Dude.
sounds unlikely.
Ring cams are a thing.
Uh-huh.
Porch pirates have been stealing shit for a minute, and none of them get prosecuted.
If I Google ring cam prosecutions, what do you think it'll come up with?
Sparse information.
Let's see. Oh, this is about suing ring cam.
Even worse than
let's see.
sparse.
Ring cam stops allowing police to request use of storm ballot. This is about the police who were using it. Swatting spree. All right. Ring cam prosecutions in California leads to ring cam camera video be used in court. The client may bring several versions of recorded evidence in varying formats for a ring security camera to proffer evidence in a court proceeding. These recordings may have been trimmed or converted in order to maximize compatibility. I don't think that's the way the system's working. Link me some things. Show me some evidence over the next week or so, and suggest to me that people are just ignoring the cops aren't doing their job. And if they are not doing their job, maybe we should reform them. Maybe we should set up a system that works better.
Well, the question might be, why are they not doing their job? And the reason is because even if they do, it doesn't work. If you catch somebody who broke into somebody's vehicle or somebody's house and stole something, and then the state prosecutor refuses to try the case, is your work worth the effort?
Depending on what it's for, I could imagine. I mean, we discussed that earlier today. They talked about how they can't prove it or anything like that with Joe Biden. Sorry, I'm googling things. How many inmates are in California?
Why don't you Google some California store closures? Like, I'm pretty sure a Whole Foods was closed in San Francisco.
Oh, they lied about
And-
that, boss. They fucking the stores that had to close because of the all the stealing. They were lying to you. They were capitalists who were lying about how much was being stolen. They exaggerated it by tenfold so that they could make their investors feel better about their poor performance. They were lying. The Targets that had to close, yeah, that was a whole thing. Oh, we had to close because of all the shoplifting. And when somebody looked into it, they were lying. They just didn't sell as much.
Gonna have to provide me with a link, and also am inclined to believe that they were stolen from more in those locations.
They said that so that their investors wouldn't run off. Sure enough, shoplifting was not the reason for the closure of Target at Folsom and 13th Streets. They were lying when they said that. When Target announced they were closing the SF store in Soma, they blamed theft and organized retail crime. Turns out that Target had the least reported crime of any Target store in the entire Bay Area. The fuss was made when the Target announced in September they were closing their store in Folsom on 13th Street, among several other Target stores, with the explanation that we cannot continue operating these stores because of theft and organized retail crime are threatening the safety of our team and guests. And it seemed plausible enough because the Associated Press pointed out it was located under a busy overpass with homeless tents and largely commercial neighborhood with auto shops. And then CNBC's investigation showed that the crime at the Ballard Target was lower than at other stores in Seattle that the retailer chose to keep open. So it had lower crime than other places. The crime excuse suddenly seemed less plausible. Let's see. They found the same pattern where Target stores simultaneously closed in Portland, Seattle, New York City, all had significantly lower reported crime incidents than the ones that remained open.
Reported.
Yeah, CNBC analyzed reported crime incidents during the 32-month period between January 21st and September 23rd. Found the Folsom Street Target experienced only 84 reported crime incidents during that period. Meanwhile, Metron Target, which certainly gets hit by crime, had 486 such incidents. Nearly 6 times as much crime, yet it remains open. Meanwhile, the Target of the Stonestown had 123 crime incidents, and it too remains open. So was the crime excuse a publicity stunt meant to hide other unflattering metrics? Stunt. Hey, look, we were talking about stunts earlier. Our entire economy is all stunts now. we're all stunts all the time. So.
Hold on.
Mm-hmm.
So, if a certain amount of crime happens at a target, and you compare that to another target that has 10 times the customer base, but let's say 6 times less the crime.
Mm-hmm.
The target with the more crime and less customer base, or less profit, is going to close. And just because another target has more crime happening at it, that doesn't mean that that target's going to close, because the customer base there is sufficient to support the fact that there's a degree more crime happening.
Then you don't get to go on CNN and scream about how lawless California is ruining your entire store. That's what they did. They screamed
Yes, it
about it.
does.
They said it was terrible
That's
and it's
not- they
ruining our
didn't-
stuff, and
no.
then they were wrong. They were
They
lying.
That's not the case. No, they closed those stores because the crime versus the profit margin was not worth it. In the spots that you are looking up in CNBC,
Mhm.
crime versus the profit margin, where the crime was
Yes,
a
it was
lot more,
less. It was
they
less crime there,
also
but
had a greater demographic of people that were actually paying for things in order to keep the store open.
so it's not rampant crime that's the problem.
It is.
It's
the
they can't
reason
make enough
why Target
profit.
is not.
They're not making enough profit, and 1% of it is being lost because of crime.
Hold on. No, you've misunderstood entirely what I've been saying.
Okay. What?
Okay.
Okay.
Profit and loss, right? In one location, I have $10 million profit. It costs me $6 million to stock the store. I have $500,000 in loss from stealing. There are so many people buying from that store that the stealing doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
It's negligible,
Mhm.
right?
You're still turning a profit. Okay.
Store number 2. It cost me that same $6 million to stock the store. I sell $6.3 million worth of goods. I'm making $300,000 profit. But I lose $1 million in stealing.
Was that the same as amount from the first store, or was it less? Because in this situation, it was less. The store that
literally
closed.
doesn't matter. If
Course it
the decision-
does.
The decision was made on those kind of grounds.
Right. And the decision can be made. They can say, "Hey, we're not turning enough profit on this store. We're going to close the store." But
Or
investors
losing money.
hate that. So instead of telling the investors the truth, what they did was lie about how much was being stolen. And then they
Oh, that's so
exaggerated their stolen numbers. They exaggerated their stolen numbers. They exaggerated the amount that was stolen from them. They exaggerated that number so that they wouldn't have to say, "We weren't turning a profit." Not our fault we weren't turning a profit.
That's
Don't
so
stop
silly.
being an investor. How is that
No,
silly? That's
stop.
literally what happened. That's literally
No,
what happened.
It's not.
It's
not
exactly
at all.
what happened. They've
No.
been found out to have been done that.
No.
They exaggerated
not at all.
those numbers. The numbers that they used were exaggerated. And they did that so that they wouldn't lose stock prices, so that the stock wouldn't go down, so that the people wouldn't stop being investors. Because that's all that matters anymore. Truth, reality, and statistics no longer matter. We live in a
Totally
world that only
ridiculous.
cares about stock prices. Reality doesn't
Everything
matter.
you
Stock
have
price
said
is all that
is
matters.
absolutely absurd.
How is that absurd? It's
No.
the truth. It's
It's not
It's
at
what
all.
I keep
No,
running
it's
into.
not.
So why would they lie about that number? Why would they lie about the amount of things that were stolen? Why would they do that?
They're not.
They did. They literally exaggerated about it. They
That's
increased
why they're
that
closing
number.
those stores.
Target lied about crime to advance its legislative agenda,
Says who?
says Ron Davis. I don't know who that is, but they lied
fuck Ron
about the
Davis.
amount of crime. They lied about it. Let's see. A pattern we see in all the Target closures is that there was another Target store within a short drive, perhaps even within walking distance. Target stores that remained open had higher crime rates, but were also in more affluent zip codes and had more foot traffic. So perhaps like Walgreens, they simply opened too many stores and were close to one another, and the stores cannibalized one another's business. That's bad for the stock price. They expanded too
not.
far. They extended too much, and then it couldn't contain itself. They weren't turning enough profit, so then they had to downsize. But downsizing makes the stockholders nervous, and by making them nervous, you would rather blame something else. If you had to give bad news to a investor, would you rather say, "Oh, we did bad business," or "The criminals of California are stealing from us"? The second one makes it seem like it's not your fault. We don't live in a fact-based reality anymore. We live in a investor shareholder price reality now. If it makes them happier, then that's the truth. If it makes them sad, then it can't be true. Or you'll find a way to lie about it. That's why I keep coming down so hard on them.
I don't think so. And also, KBP. The reason that it's always on Waldo to put up the evidence is because Waldo is the one making a positive claim.
Also, I'm the one with the mouse. I'm not demanding you provide evidence because I hardly ever do. Everything is feelings, as usual. Let's see. So yes, I'm the one typing the things into the thing. So like you mentioned earlier, yes, the left-leaning sources get picked in the morning when I go through there and look at them, and then sometimes that thing that appeared is the one that I chose because I'm driving the stream. KBP, you're don't be mean to Thomas. He can provide me with links, but it's a little bit difficult because of the way in which we've set the stream up.
And I have before.
Yeah, and you have before, and
I
you
can
often
again.
do bring links when we know what we're going to talk about. But honestly, I didn't think we'd be talking about this today, so even I didn't set this up properly.
That could be interesting.
Let's jump
I'd be
on
down for a Thomas led
to
stream.
the next thing. Yeah, if you wanted to start a channel of your own, I would be subscribed to it, and then we could guest star on each other, and then you know what we would do is we would clip chimp each other, right? And we'd become evil rivals. Like who's that guy? Destiny and Vosh. You know, they hate each other and they just keep bashing each other, and then their audiences yell at each other. We could do that. It'll be fun. A little kayfabe, wrestling kind of thing.
That'd be too annoying. I don't like Vosh, and honestly, Destiny gets on my nerves too.
Right.
So,
but we could have that relationship. That could be us. If you
don't
just
want
start
that.
your own YouTube video.
Waldo's my friend. Why
Yeah, you're right.
Why would I want
Yeah, you're right.
to have this adversarial?
But it's a secret. It's not real. Oh, hi. Thanks for watching all the way to the end of the video. The algorithm loves it when you watch it all the way to the end of the video. If you want to keep the algorithm happy, and I know you do, press the subscribe button, press the thumbs up button, leave a comment, tell me what you're thinking, tell me what you're feeling, and let's all keep that algorithm happy. Thanks. Have a good day.